So as I said before, as using the functions, the greater advantage is you can use their functionality by defining them at once. And it's up to you that how many times you want to use your function in your program. And I showed you practically in this user defined function in which we created one function and we used it for different values in the same program. But the reusability of function is much more wider than you can hardly imagine. And that is, instead of using function within the same file, you can define your function in a single file and you can link that file to any file you want to use the functions which you made earlier. So I have opened this user defined functions, and for showing you reusability, I'm going to remove couple of functions from here because we don't need this return function, and these callback of function as well. Let's leave this addition using function parameter here, and let's remove this addition callback as well, this addition function too, this callback of welcome function as well. So in the file of user defined function, I just have welcome and addition using function parameter, just two functions. Now I'm going to save this file as function file.php. Okay, so I have this simple.php file and I'm going to call this file reusability, and let's save this file as reusability.php. So I have two files here, functions file.php and reusability.php. In function file, I just made two simple function of welcome and then addition using function parameter. Now in the file of reusability.php, I'm going to access these functions that I made in function file.php. But before doing anything, I have to connect this function file with this reusability.php file. And how can I do that? I have to link this file with this reusability.php file. So in my reusability.php file, at the top, I'm going to define PHP scope here, in which I'm going to link my function file.php with this one. So first I have to include that file, and that file name has function file and semicolon at the end. So that's the way you can include any file with your another file and use the functionality of that file here. So I'm just using all of the code that is on the function file.php in my reusability.php file. So let's save this and let's open our browser. This file is in localhost. Inside my PHP course, have the name of reusability.php. I don't have anything right here. Why? Because I haven't used the functionality. I just include my file of function file.php here. So first of all, I'm going to call this function of welcome that is inside my function file.php. So in the PHP tag, I'm just going to call my function of welcome, saving this one out, refreshing the page. Now we have welcome to PHP course. This is the file of reusability.php in which we are getting the function output of welcome.php by just simply calling our function of welcome. So I have this one more function of addition using function parameter, and for calling this function, first I have to add function call here, and I'm going to pass two variable, means two values. So let's pass 15 plus 10. It's the function of addition, and let's equal it with some variable foo, and on the next line let's echo our function with the variable of foo. Okay, so let's save this, refreshing the page. Now we have addition using function parameter is 25. So including different file in some other files are very handy, and it reduced your effort to write enormous amount of code in every type of your file. So this reusability is very handy using include function of PHP. And if you want to require some file, instead of writing include here, you can write require. Include means if you are getting the file of function file.php, it's okay, and if you are not getting it, it's also okay. However, require means you must have to include this file of function file.php, otherwise this file of reusability.php will not going to work. So let's save this, refreshing the page, same output, and if I change the name of this file function file.php to be function file 8.php, we don't have function file 8.php, so let's save this. So it's going to give us error. Why? Because function file 8.php failed to open because we don't have any file, and we made this file of reusability.php to require this file, otherwise all of this content is not going to show to our user. So keep this thing in mind. Whenever you have to apply some restriction on some file, you can use require, otherwise include is just fine. You can make it require once, it's also the same. You can make it to include once, it's also the same. So it include function file.php once. Saving this one out, refreshing the page. Now we are getting our output. So in upcoming movies, maybe in the upcoming chapters, you will see a very solid example of including function.